Growing older is often described as entering a golden chapter of life, a season meant for rest, reflection, and enjoying the fruits of decades of work. Yet, for many seniors, this stage is marked not by ease, but by financial stress. While wisdom, resilience, and life experience are treasures that age brings, money problems can overshadow these blessings and create daily challenges that are difficult to ignore. Across the world, millions of older adults face financial insecurity. Studies reveal that a significant percentage of seniors either have minimal savings or none at all. Retirement, once imagined as a peaceful time of security, too often becomes a season of anxiety. Instead of enjoying stability, many seniors are asking hard questions. Will my savings last? Can I afford the medical care I need? What happens if I become a burden to my children? These questions highlight the fragile balance between aging gracefully and struggling silently. The truth is, sobering money problems in later life are not just about numbers in a bank account. They touch every part of a person's well-being. Financial stress contributes to declining physical health, strains family relationships, and impacts mental health. Many seniors battle not only external circumstances, but also internal fears. And because conversations around money can be uncomfortable, many seniors suffer in silence. Ashamed to admit that they are struggling, the issue is further complicated by the reality that seniors live longer than previous generations. While this is a gift, it also extends the years during which financial resources must stretch. Medical advances may add years to life, but they also add costs. Social safety nets, like pensions or government programs, often lag behind the true cost of living, leaving seniors caught between limited income and rising expenses. Another layer of vulnerability lies in how society treats its aging population. Seniors are often targeted by scams, pressured into unwise financial decisions, or even exploited by those they trust most. With technology advancing quickly, many older adults also feel left behind, unable to protect themselves from digital fraud or modern financial traps. In this article, we will explore 5 harsh realities about seniors and money problems. These are not meant to discourage, but to shed light on truths that are too often ignored. Each reality represents both a challenge and a call to wisdom, an opportunity for seniors, families, and communities to respond with understanding and solutions. By facing these realities openly, we not only honor the struggles of older generations, but also offer pathways toward dignity, resilience, and hope. Because the golden years should be more than survival, they should be lived with peace, purpose, and the wisdom that comes from a lifetime of experience. For decades, people were told that diligent saving and a company pension would secure a peaceful retirement, yet many older adults arrive at the golden years to find a gap between what they saved and what life actually costs. Several forces drive this shortfall. Wage growth has been uneven, making it hard for middle and lower income workers to set aside enough during peak earning years. Housing, healthcare, and caregiving costs have climbed faster than general inflation, eroding the real value of savings. Market downturns can hit right before or early in retirement, shrinking nest eggs at the worst possible time. Meanwhile, traditional pensions are less common, and personal retirement accounts shift risk from employers to individuals who may lack time, literacy, or stable income to invest well. Life events compound the problem: layoffs in midlife, medical bills, supporting adult children or aging parents, divorce late in life, or pauses in work to provide care. Longer lifespans, which are a blessing, also mean savings must stretch for 20-30 years, not 10-15. The result is a growing share of seniors facing tough trade-offs: delaying care, downsizing abruptly, or returning to part-time work. Understanding these structural headwinds is the first step to realistic planning and to restoring stability and dignity in later life. Inflation quietly reduces the real value of every fixed dollar a senior receives when most retirement income comes from pensions, social benefits, and predictable withdrawals. Rising prices for groceries, utilities, transportation, and rent mean the same check buys less month after month. Healthcare inflation is even harsher. Prescriptions, specialist visits, medical devices, dental work, and long-term care typically outpace general inflation, forcing retirees to trim other essentials or delay treatment. Housing magnifies the squeeze. Property taxes, insurance, HOA fees, or rent renewals climb steadily, and maintenance surprises can drain cash quickly. If a senior carries debt, higher interest rates raise minimum payments and extend payoff timelines, diverting money from health and nutrition to servicing loans. These pressures don't just erode budgets, they reshape lifestyles. Seniors ration heating or cooling, cut social activities, and skip preventive care, which can snowball into bigger, costlier health events later. Inflation shocks after recessions or pandemics can derail a careful plan in 1 or 2 years, triggering premature asset sales or forced part-time work. The practical response is defensive, rigorous expense tracking, negotiating bills and insurance, exploring generics and patient assistance programs, considering downsizing or house sharing, and building a small inflation buffer into annual withdrawal plans to keep purchasing power intact. One of the most unsettling realities for seniors is the fear of outliving their savings. Retirement, once imagined as a time of rest, can become overshadowed by constant anxiety. Will my money last as long as I do? With life expectancy steadily increasing, many seniors live into their late 80 seconds or 90 seconds, far longer than the traditional retirement plans of earlier generations anticipated. This blessing of longevity often collides with the limits of financial resources. Running out of money has more than just financial consequences. It also creates emotional strain. Seniors may hesitate to spend on travel, hobbies, or even necessary healthcare, fearing they will need those funds later. This leads to a paradox: living frugally and joylessly, only to risk dying with unused savings, or worse, exhausting resources too soon. The fear of burdening children or relying on charity deepens the emotional weight. Many seniors experience sleepless nights, calculating expenses and silently worrying. Without a clear plan, this fear can erode mental health and diminish the quality of daily life. Recognizing this challenge is critical, not to increase despair, but to encourage strategies that stretch resources, such as delayed retirement, part-time work, annuities, or community-based financial support systems. Money problems in later life are never just about numbers. They cut deeply into a senior's sense of dignity, security, and belonging. When savings prove insufficient, many older adults experience constant anxiety, worrying about bills, medical emergencies, or even basic survival. This financial stress can trigger depression, lower self-esteem, and create feelings of helplessness. Seniors who once provided for their families may now feel ashamed to ask for help, believing they have failed in their responsibility. The social impact is equally significant. Limited finances often isolate seniors from their communities. They may avoid social gatherings, travel, or hobbies due to cost, which leads to loneliness and a shrinking support network. In cultures where independence is highly valued, financial struggles can increase the fear of becoming a burden to children or society. This sense of dependency erodes confidence and creates tension in family relationships, as younger relatives may feel pressured to provide financial support. Ultimately, The lack of savings isn't just an economic problem, it undermines emotional well-being and social connection. A senior's ability to enjoy life, participate in community, and maintain self-respect depends as much on financial stability as on health. Without adequate resources, both the mind and relationships suffer. Although the problem of inadequate retirement savings is daunting, seniors are not without options. The first step is reframing expectations, downsizing to a smaller home, relocating to a more affordable area, or simplifying lifestyle choices can stretch limited resources significantly. Exploring part-time work, consulting, or freelance opportunities allows seniors to generate supplemental income while staying engaged and purposeful. Many older adults find that a few hours of work a week not only boosts finances but also strengthens their sense of independence. Financial tools can also help. Annuities provide guaranteed income for life, helping reduce the fear of outliving savings. Government and community programs, from food subsidies to senior transport services, should not be overlooked. Seniors can also benefit from professional guidance through nonprofit financial counseling or elder-focused advisors, who may offer creative solutions such as debt restructuring or benefit maximization. Equally important is the role of family dialogue. Open conversations about financial challenges allow children or relatives to plan together, reducing shame and preventing crises. By combining practical strategies with emotional support, seniors can regain stability and dignity. While the harsh reality of insufficient savings cannot be erased overnight, proactive steps and communal wisdom can transform insecurity into resilience. Among the heaviest financial burdens seniors face, healthcare expenses stand at the top. Even in countries with public health systems, retirees often discover that many essential services such as dental work, vision care, hearing aids, and long-term care are only partially covered or not covered at all. For those relying on fixed pensions or Social Security, the price of prescription drugs, regular checkups, and specialist visits can consume a disproportionate share of monthly income. The challenge is magnified by the unpredictability of medical needs, as sudden surgery, chronic illness, or the onset of conditions like dementia can trigger costs far beyond what was planned. Seniors living longer means more years of potential illness and higher out-of-pocket spending. Studies show that in some countries, healthcare inflation rises faster than overall inflation, which steadily erodes savings. This reality forces many older adults into painful trade-offs, skipping medications, delaying procedures, or relying on family for financial help. The financial weight of medical expenses often brings with it emotional stress. Constant worry about what happens if I get sick again becomes part of daily life. Without preparation or supplemental support, healthcare costs can quietly dismantle the financial security seniors work their whole lives to build. One of the harshest realities seniors face is that healthcare coverage rarely matches real-world needs. Insurance plans, government programs, or pension-linked health benefits often sound reassuring on paper, but the fine print tells another story. Coverage might exclude essential services like long-term nursing care, in-home assistance, physical therapy, dental or vision treatment, all of which become increasingly important with age. Even when services are covered, high deductibles, co-payments, and limits on prescriptions can leave seniors paying hundreds or thousands of dollars out of pocket each year. This gap grows wider as medical advances create new treatments and drugs. While innovations extend life and improve quality, they often come at a steep cost that existing insurance schemes are slow to include. Seniors who assumed healthcare will be covered discover that coverage only provides partial relief, leaving families scrambling to fill the shortfall. The result is financial strain that forces difficult decisions. Should limited money go to better medication or to housing? Should a caregiver be hired Or should family members sacrifice their own work and income? This mismatch between what coverage provides and what aging truly requires is one of the reasons medical costs erode retirement security so quickly. Long-term care (LTC) is the cost most retirees underestimate and the one most likely to derail a budget. It isn't just nursing homes. LTC spans help with activities of daily living, bathing, dressing, eating, in-home aids, adult day programs, memory care units, and assisted living. Conditions like stroke, Parkinson's, or dementia can extend care needs for years, turning a temporary expense into a chronic drain. Even modest in-home support, just a few hours a day, adds up quickly. Full-time assistance can exceed a typical pension or Social Security check. Forcing asset sales or family subsidies, families often fill the gap with unpaid caregiving. While loving and sacrificial, it carries hidden costs, reduced work hours, stalled careers, burnout, and strained relationships. Public programs may be means-tested and hard to access, with wait lists and strict eligibility rules. Private insurance is cheaper if purchased early, but many delay until it's unaffordable or medically unavailable. Homes may need accessibility, upgrades, ramps, grab bars, safer bathrooms, which demand cash up front. Planning early is decisive. Consider standalone LTC insurance or hybrid life divided by LTC policies. Build a care reserve fund. Document powers of attorney and advance directives. And map local resources, respite care, adult day centers, volunteer transport. Treat LTC as a probability, not a remote possibility. The earlier the plan, the gentler the impact. Medical costs rarely hit the senior alone. They spill over to family. Unpaid caregiving is the hidden subsidy that props up aging systems. Adult children. Often daughters reduce hours or exit the workforce to drive to appointments, manage medications, and provide daily care. The result is lost wages, stalled careers, and smaller pensions later. Travel, co-pays, home modifications, and emergency fill-ins chip away at household budgets. The sandwich generation, supporting both kids and parents, faces chronic cash flow strain and rising debt. While siblings may disagree over money, time, or living arrangements, amplifying stress. Right when unity is needed most, caregiver burnout has financial consequences. Too missed work, medical leave, and mental health costs. Without structure, one relative often becomes the default caregiver, creating resentment and inequity. Practical defenses help create a written family care plan with shared tasks and cost-splitting rules. Set up powers of attorney and health proxies early. Use respite care and adult day programs to protect caregivers' bandwidth. And explore tax credits, caregiver allowances, or employer benefits, flex schedules. Paid leave. Consider modest paid help for high-strain tasks. Even a few hours a week. Treat caregiving like a project with budgets, roles, backups, and boundaries, so families can sustain both the elder's dignity and their own financial stability. You can't eliminate medical costs, but you can control their trajectory. Start with a proactive health plan. Keep vaccinations current. Schedule annual checkups and manage chronic conditions. Tightly blood pressure, diabetes, bone health. Preventive care is cheaper than crises. Build a medication strategy. Ask doctors about deprescribing generics, 90-day refills, and manufacturer assistance. Compare pharmacies and use reputable discount programs. For big-ticket care, shop carefully. Ask for cash prices. Request itemized estimates and appeal billing errors. Negotiate payment plans before debt goes to collections. Strengthen coverage intelligently. If available, add supplemental insurance or riders to close common gaps. Dental, vision, hearing. Consider long-term care coverage early or a dedicated care reserve bucket in your portfolio. Document powers of attorney and medical proxies to prevent costly delays and conflicts. Optimize location. Some regions offer lower living and healthcare costs, plus strong senior services. Moving closer to family can reduce transport and caregiver expenses. Design a care network primary caregiver. Backups, respite options, adult day programs, community volunteers, and faith divided by community groups. Track every bill and appointment in a shared folder. Small leaks sink ships. Finally, keep an emergency buffer, 3-6 months of core costs. Costs may still rise, but with layered defenses prevention, savvy purchasing, smarter coverage, and organized caregiving, you contain the damage and preserve dignity. One of the most alarming money problems seniors face today is the explosion of scams and fraud directed at them. Criminals know that older adults often have life savings, steady pensions, or home equity, and may be less familiar with digital technology. As a result, they are prime targets for phone scams, phishing emails, fake tech support calls, romance scams, and fraudulent investment opportunities. The Federal Trade Commission reports billions lost each year by seniors, with many cases never reported due to shame or fear of losing independence. The psychology of aging plays into the scammer strategy. Seniors are often trusting, polite, or reluctant to hang up abruptly on a caller. Loneliness can make them more susceptible to friendly voices, offering companionship or promises. Cognitive decline, even in mild forms, may reduce skepticism or critical thinking. Once trust is gained, fraudsters can drain bank accounts or persuade victims to share personal details that enable identity theft. The emotional aftermath is devastating. Beyond financial loss, seniors feel betrayed, embarrassed, and isolated. Many never recover financially, and the blow to confidence can discourage them from managing money independently again. Recognizing scams as a growing industry of exploitation is the first step in building safeguards to protect vulnerable older adults. While scams from strangers grab headlines, a more painful and often hidden problem is financial abuse by trusted individuals. This can involve adult children, caregivers, relatives, or even close friends exploiting a senior's assets for personal gain. Unlike scams, these cases cut deeper because they come from relationships built on trust and love. Seniors may be coerced into signing documents, pressured to lend money that is never repaid, or gradually stripped of control over bank accounts, property, or valuables. Elder financial abuse is rarely reported because victims fear damaging family relationships or worry about losing the support of their caregiver. In some cases, cognitive decline makes it difficult for seniors to recognize or articulate what is happening. Even when abuse is discovered, it often creates family rifts, with siblings at odds over inheritance, power of attorney, or caregiving responsibilities. The impact extends beyond finances. Seniors subjected to betrayal from within their own circle may experience depression, isolation, or a complete loss of confidence in others. Their independence is eroded not just by money loss, but by emotional wounds. Recognizing the warning signs, unexplained withdrawals, sudden changes in wills, or restricted access to loved ones is critical to safeguarding elders from this devastating form of exploitation. As money moves online, fraudsters follow, and seniors often face a technology gap that makes them easier targets. Phishing texts, spoofed bank emails, fake shipping notices, and pop-up virus alerts are engineered to trigger urgency and fear. Social media adds new risks, cloned profiles of grandchildren, "you want a prize" messages, and links that hijack accounts or install malware. Two-factor prompts can be spoofed, public Wi-Fi can be sniffed, and weak or reused passwords crack open multiple accounts at once. Even legitimate-looking websites can be lookalike domains designed solely to steal login credentials. The problem isn't a lack of intelligence, it's unfamiliarity with fast-changing interfaces and security practices. Small design changes, new buttons, new flows can confuse users into clicking the wrong thing. Vision or dexterity issues raise the risk of mistaps on phones. Meanwhile, helpful strangers or even voice clones mimicking loved ones can override caution. Bridging the gap requires layered habits. Use a password manager and unique passwords. Enable app-based multi-factor authentication, not SMS when possible. Keep devices updated, and set bank divided by credit alerts for every transaction. Bookmark official sites and navigate from bookmarks, not emails. Freeze credit by default. Unfreeze only when needed. Practice the pause rule. If a message demands urgency, stop. Verify through a known phone number, and only then act. Digital confidence is a skill, and it can be learned. Fraud thrives on speed, secrecy, and silence. Many seniors ignore or overlook warning signs until it is too late. Sudden withdrawals from bank accounts, unexplained charges on credit cards, unfamiliar names added to property deeds, or a new friend who discourages outside contact are all classic red flags. Phone calls that pressure immediate action, email demanding private information, or requests for payment through gift cards or cryptocurrency are equally suspicious. The problem is that these signals often appear subtle at first and are easy to dismiss. What makes the situation worse is the silence that follows. Seniors may feel ashamed to admit they were fooled, or afraid their family will think they can no longer manage their own affairs. This silence allows abusers to continue unchecked, sometimes draining accounts for months or years. The emotional toll is as serious as the financial loss. Feelings of betrayal, humiliation, and fear often isolate seniors even further from their support systems. Breaking the silence is essential. Open conversations about money, routine review of accounts, and creating a safe space to discuss unusual events can turn suspicion into protection. Fraud leaves scars, but silence magnifies them. Awareness, vigilance, and communication remain the strongest shields. While scams and financial abuse can feel overwhelming, seniors are not powerless. The most effective defense is a combination of practical safeguards, education, and trusted support systems. Start with the basics. Keep personal information private. Shred sensitive mail, and avoid sharing banking details over the phone. Use strong, unique passwords managed with a password manager, and enable multi-factor authentication wherever possible. Set up automatic bank and credit alerts so unusual activity is flagged instantly. Equally important is education. Seniors who attend community workshops, online safety classes, or simply learn from tech-savvy family members develop more confidence in spotting suspicious messages or calls. Regular conversations about common scams help build awareness and reduce the shame that often follows falling victim. Families can also designate a trusted relative or advisor to monitor accounts jointly, providing oversight without stripping independence. Finally, formal protections add another layer: financial powers of attorney, legal guardianship when necessary, and fraud alerts or credit freezes with major bureaus. Combining these measures creates a protective circle around vulnerable seniors. Fraudsters thrive on isolation, secrecy, and speed. By surrounding older adults with knowledge, tools, and trustworthy relationships, families and communities can transform fear into resilience and security. For retirees, the clash between fixed income and rising costs is relentless. Pensions and government benefits were meant to provide stability, yet inflation in housing, food, utilities, and healthcare steadily erodes their value. What once covered a comfortable lifestyle now barely meets the basics. Housing illustrates this squeeze clearly. Homeowners face rising property taxes and insurance premiums, while renters endure yearly increases that consume more of their limited budgets. Utility bills, electricity, heating, water, internet creep up each year, claiming a larger share of fixed pensions. Even small price jumps feel massive when income cannot grow to match. Food is another casualty. Grocery bills have surged, forcing many seniors to cut back on fresh produce and lean proteins, instead relying on cheaper, less nutritious foods. Some even skip meals to make ends meet. Ironically, poor nutrition raises health risks, which in turn increases medical costs. The very expenses retirees already struggle with. Transportation also strains finances. Gas, repair, and insurance climb steadily. While public transit fares are no longer negligible, these rising costs chip away not only at money but also at independence, forcing older adults to limit outings, social gatherings, or essential medical visits. The fixed income squeeze is not just numbers on a page. It reshapes lifestyles, choices, and ultimately, dignity. While the rising cost of living feels overwhelming, seniors can take practical steps to protect themselves and adapt. One of the most effective strategies is downsizing, moving to a smaller home, or relocating to a community with lower costs. This not only reduces housing expenses, but can also free up equity from a property sale. For renters seeking senior housing programs or subsidized living arrangements can provide relief. Budgeting becomes essential. Tracking every expense helps identify hidden leaks, unused subscriptions, overpriced services, or unnecessary purchases. Free or low-cost digital tools can make this easier, even for those less comfortable with technology, especially with help from family. Community resources should also be explored. Food banks, senior meal programs, utility subsidies, and local transportation services are designed to bridge gaps. Family dialogue is another cornerstone. Seniors who share their struggles openly often discover their children or relatives are willing to help, whether financially, logistically, or emotionally. This prevents silent suffering and reduces the risk of isolation. On a broader scale, advocacy is crucial. Pushing for pension adjustments tied to real inflation, affordable healthcare reforms, and senior-focused subsidies ensures systemic change. Ultimately, coping with fixed income requires a mix of personal resilience and social support. While the challenge is structural, creative strategies and open communication can turn financial survival into a life still marked by dignity, independence, and peace. Debt used to fade by retirement. Now it often follows seniors into old age. The biggest culprits are mortgages and home equity loans, extended far beyond the traditional payoff age. Add credit cards with high variable rates, medical bills after hospital stays, and, for some, Parent Plus divided by student loans taken to help children, often lingering for decades. Rising interest rates magnify balances even when spending is modest. Many older adults also co-sign for family, inheriting debt risk they can't control. Fixed incomes turn routine payments into stress. Miss one bill and fees snowball. Emotionally, debt erodes confidence and fuels secrecy. Seniors skip social activities, postpone care, or draw down savings too fast. The pattern is structural, longer lifespans, une vivaces, volatile market, and expensive housing create a pipeline from midlife borrowing to late life repayment. Understanding what the debt is and why it persists is the first step toward relief. Carrying debt into retirement does not have to mean defeat. Seniors can take deliberate steps to regain control. Debt counseling services, often nonprofit, can help consolidate payments and negotiate lower interest rates. For those with overwhelming credit card or medical debt, structured repayment plans or even bankruptcy relief may provide a fresh start without shame. Downsizing housing, selling unused assets, or tapping community aid can free cash flow for essentials. Communication is equally critical. Families who talk openly can prevent hidden debt from spiraling and may find creative solutions, such as cost-sharing or co-living arrangements. Most importantly, seniors should not navigate this alone. Legal advisors, financial coaches, and trusted relatives can all play a role in building stability. Debt is heavy, but with planning, transparency, and targeted action, it can shift from a life-crushing burden to a manageable challenge, opening space again for peace of mind and dignity in later years. As we reflect on the 5 harsh financial realities seniors face: insufficient retirement savings, overwhelming medical expenses, vulnerability to scams and exploitation, rising living costs, and the burden of debt, a single truth emerges. Aging is not just a physical or emotional journey, but also a profound financial one. These challenges do not define the worth of older adults. Rather, they highlight how society must evolve to honor and support them. The lessons are clear: preparation matters. But even the most careful plans can be tested by unexpected illness, inflation, or market downturns. Dignity can erode quickly when money becomes scarce, making emotional well-being as critical as financial stability. Silence, whether about debt, scams, or struggles with children, only deepens the pain. Open communication within families, communities, and institutions is the bridge that transforms fear into shared responsibility. Yet within these realities lies wisdom. Seniors carry resilience forged over decades of change. They know that survival is not always about abundance, but about adaptability, resourcefulness, and community. Downsizing a home, joining hands with neighbors, or seeking professional guidance are not signs of weakness, but of strength. Asking for help is not a failure. It is a step toward freedom. Families, too, gain from these conversations. When children and grandchildren witness the courage of elders confronting money struggles, they learn invaluable lessons about planning, disciplina, and humility. A society that listens to its elders does more than support them. It builds a roadmap for future generations. The wisdom of senior life is this: financial security is not merely about wealth, but about peace of mind. It comes from honest reflection, proactive choices, and the courage to face uncomfortable truths. Seniors deserve not only care and respect, but also systems that protect their dignity. And for younger generations, the message is urgent. Begin preparing today, because time is the most powerful ally in building stability. The golden years were never meant to be a battle for survival. With awareness, support, and wisdom, they can still shine with peace, independence, and fulfillment. Aging with dignity is possible, but it requires all of us seniors, families, and society to walk that path together.